growing weed takes time. But what if you can speed things up? Let's talk about how to get faster results without ruining your grow. But first, today's video is brought to you by RealDGC.com. If you want to connect with our private community of premium growers, get grow tips from some of the best growers around the world, and get access to exclusive Dude Grow Show content, membership is free, and you can become a DGC producer if you want to help support the value that we bring you here. Head on over to RealDGC.com and get signed up today. All right, back to the show. All right. I don't know, Scotty, how fast do you want to finish, man? I like to have the relationship with my plants.
I don't know, man. The fastest plant that I've had was ice at 47 days, and this is when I was fairly new. I thought it was great, man. We weren't into strains then. We were just in the weed.
Into the ice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. I mean, obviously, cannabis typically can be, let's say 90 days, 1 month veg, 2 month flower. That's the most common way people would look at how long it takes. 3 months. Can we agree on that? We can choose first. Let's choose faster growing genetics. They're out there. There's fast flowering strains. There's right up here, I'll feature a strain from Humboldt Seed Co., a popular one from the breeder, Humboldt Seed Co., Blueberry Muffin. They say a 45-day finishing time, which still, I don't know about that. It seems too quick.
What does that mean, though? When we talk about finishing, cutting your plants before they're really done, you want to have a couple amber trichomes. You want to at least have all the trichomes to be milky. Sure, you can cut something off at 47 days, and it might look pretty, but just be careful. Like I said, I might have even should have let that 47-day ice strain go a little bit longer. I was new, man. I was young.
Yeah. Be scoping your trichomes. If you take it too early, you might get, too racy of a high, different high than you want. If you take it a little bit later, and nothing against Humboldt Seed Co., you can't just straight up trust the breeder's recommendation on when it's going to finish it. And that's what it is, just what it is. It's a recommendation. It's not a boom, this is when it's done. Different environments, different grows, different phenos of that said strain and seed form are going to give you different end times.
Yes, that's why you want to go to RealDGC.com, and Maestro set you straight, man. He's just a savant at that kind of stuff, all right?
You can definitely avoid slow genetics. I mean, some like hazes and different ones claim 10 to 12 week flowering time.
Yeah, you can pick that. You can pick something, 8 weeks, 60 days, around 60 days is what you should be looking for. That's kind of what I look for. 1 month veg, 2 month bloom.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the longer you flower, again, we always preach this, potentially this each day is another opportunity for something to go wrong, for a bug to find its way in, for a mold to appear. It doesn't always happen by any means, but that is one benefit of getting to flower quicker. And maybe auto flowers. Do you like that as an option? I mean, that's a little bit quicker.
You know what? I should just abstain from talking about autoflowers. I haven't grown them. I've smoked some really good autoflower before, but I haven't grown them. But what is it, like 70, around 70 days for an auto, I think? No?
70 to 90. We'll give a big window there. 70 typically at the quickest. It is a good way to get it done quicker, typically than a photo. You have a shorter veg time, which is actually takes us right to our next point. Shortening your veg cycle. I think over vegging is something that a lot of growers are guilty of doing.
Well, it's true. I mean, think about what plant counts do. If you can only have 4 or 6 plants, you're going to over veg that plant. You're not going to veg them for 3 weeks to a month. You're going to veg them for 2 months to get tons of cloning sites, tons of budding sites, tons of branches off it.
I totally agree. I think it is in, on Dude Grow Show, we featured, maybe it was Illinois, that if you grow over 3 or 4 plants, it turns into a felony and potential prison time. So if you're only growing those 3, you are going to boost them up, man. I'm going to do 10, whatever I can fit in my tent. So that will affect veg time. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, I can't believe the laws are that anachronistic, sir. You impressed with my words.
Look at the verbology
thing.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. It used to typically be, when I was a newer grower, hey, you should veg for a month and then go to bloom. You can go to a 12-12 light cycle as early as from seed. The plant is still going to have a vegetative cycle. I've done this before, and I ended up with plants that were in 3-gallon containers, at least 2 to 2.5 feet tall. So you can save some time, but you do want to probably grow a few more counts or plants the lower you are shortening your veg time.
A lot more plants. I mean, think about what the size of, we talk about growing washing machines, 3 or 4 foot by 3 or 4 foot. In tents, I've got friends that just will go, you'll jam 3-gallon containers right next to each other, and they get great yields off it. They'll maybe 10 days, 2 weeks at the maximum as far as veg time goes, and right out into the tent.
I got the quick math. Yeah, like in a tent, I would used to do, I think it is my 4x3, I could squeeze like 3 10-gallons. So that's 30 gallons of plants. I'd rather do 10 free gallons. You know what I'm saying? If I could have smaller plants, break it down like that. The only thing to take into consideration quickly, the smaller you go in your container size, you're going to have to be on top of watering, your irrigation or year around, because they will be more needy.
Yep. Drip system is key. You get a drip system. What did I talk about? That Dutch table method. They've got watering for like a minute for 15, 20 times a day. Cyclical irrigation, if you want to Google it. It's cool stuff. If everything's working right.
Cool. Also, the smaller the container size, you are going to want to be considering growing with synthetic nutrients or synthetic organically, and not straight organic. Just the smaller you go, the less the rhizosphere you have, not that great for organics.
Yeah, your soil is the battery when it comes to organics. It's taking those giant organic molecules and converting them into something that's plant available. So yeah, you do need a bigger battery, the better for organics. For synthetics, you can see with rock wool, it's a complete inert media, and it's just getting everything it needs 15 times a day. These little meals. Don't bodybuilders eat like 6 or 10 times a day? Little meals? I think they do. Where's Kenny when you need him?
One more here. This is reduced bloom time with light cycle tricks. I don't know if I like the word tricks, but there is some science here.
Yeah, that 730 nanometer, that far red light that we've been messing with, the Emerson effect, they play with it. If you just use that separately, the last 15 minutes. I think it takes about 15 minutes. You have to, the lights go off, and then you put this light on separately, and it will put your plants to sleep, meaning it switches from daytime with stomata open, pumping up through the xylem, through pumping nutrients up, to just immediately closing those stomata within 15 minutes and then starting to redistribute those sugars all over the plant. So that's a big deal. If you can get 2 more hours, and normally it takes around 2 hours without that light from the plant to fall asleep. Dude, if you can do that and shave, the plant makes these hormones, what that Florigen hormone it makes in its sleep. 2 hours more every night of that Florigen hormone being produced is going to speed your flowering up.
Yeah. Basically, that's the whole thing. They go to sleep quicker. When that happens day after day after day, you can cut up to, I was reading around 10 days off the flowering cycle. Again, this is going to be, it can be strain specific. This is something hopefully you can test on a clone that you're familiar with the finishing time. Easy to implement. These bars only about 30 watts, 4 foot long, does a 4x4 area.
Yep.
And not too expensive to try and grow, but I would not give it the definitive. If you do this, you're going to shorten your cycle by X amount of time. This is something that you have to decide how it works with your strain and your growth style.
But dude, it's science. Science.
That's ruined. The other one was 12-12. Switching from 12-12, which is their typical flowering cycle, to shortening that 10 hours on instead of 12 and 14 off.
Same thing, right? It's making more Florigen. It's making more of that flower producing Florigen, flower generating, right? So you give it 2 more hours of darkness, but then you're giving it 2 less hours of photosynthesis.
I give the grower reports on that. Again, doing my Googling. Basically, that will initiate flowering quicker. I feel in the end, I might go back, I'm going to have a shorter day quicker. The first 2 weeks of flower, I should see my pistils coming on harder. After that, I'm going to go back to 12-12. Just make sure you're reaching your DLI. Long story short, it depends on the intensity of your light, your PPFD. We're not going to go down the rabbit hole, but you want to be not reducing that unless you're meeting your DLI.
Yes, DLI is the maximum amount of light that your plants can absorb every day.
Excellent. What about you guys? Do you have any tricks for shortening your bloom cycle? It's hard to want to bend nature to what we want, but hey, we're growing these plants indoors. We're playing Mother Nature. Let us know. Give us some comments below.
And if you like this video, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, share this video with another grower you know, and check out the other couple videos YouTube is recommending. I did it, and I did it.